The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the virtual Rockingham Motor Speedway for race number 11 of the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series, presented by Garrett Smithley Racing. Joining me, Andy Kessler, topside in the LSRTV booth tonight is Brian Macklin, and as always, producer Cisco Scaramuza down in the production trailer getting that picture to you. It's that time. We're getting closer and closer to the end of segment number 1 for the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series. And just 11 races into this one here. One more to go after this week. First up, though, tonight, it's Rockingham Motor Speedway. Quite an interesting track, to say the least here. Obviously, NASCAR basically stopped coming here the last 2 or 3 years ago, and it's one of those tracks, unique track, very tight turns 1 and 2, Cisco. Turns 3 and 4 kind of open up a little bit. But this is a narrow, tough track, especially off of turn number 2, and likewise around turns 1 and 2. So this is definitely one of those tough tracks, very abrasive on tires, but a lot of fun to race.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the few tracks I've been to recently. You know, I haven't had a lot of time to drive, but I actually took the National, the K&N Pro Series car here, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a really tricky track, but it's great for those guys who love to dime in the corner, because that's basically the only way you can drive this track and be fast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, especially turns 1 and 2. Just so tight how it is. Very bumpy on the bottom, rough on the tires. You're going to see these guys, even after a 2 or 3 lap run, they're going to be coming down for tires. They absolutely need them. They have to have them awfully quickly if they want to continue on. Of course, last week, we'll take a look real quick. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, at Kentucky. Of course, we had last week off. Kentucky, Mitchell Hunt picking up his 3rd victory of the season. Tied him with Adam Gilliland with 3 wins apiece on the season here. So those two guys duking it out here over the course of the last 2 weeks to see who can get the most wins. Adam Gilliland, top of the points, though, coming into the tonight. Timmy Hill just behind him, 18 points back. Then you got Bentley Glazer, J.D. Laird, 24 and 31 points, respectively, behind. Those guys have a legitimate chance at this championship for the segment number 1, because Adam Gilliland and Timmy Hill are a no-show here tonight. That means those guys will lose basically a race worth of points. A good, strong run by that number 23 or by the 36 of Bentley Glazer means one of those guys will be leading these points with an opportunity to take the championship 1 week from tonight. It's that time, though. We're going to throw down trackside for the singing of tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was
want to thank Jaden Berkey for that rendition of tonight's national anthem, and of course, the virtual Thunderbirds for that flyover. I want to welcome you here once again to the Rockingham Motor Speedway, an interesting track, a unique one. We don't see too many times for the racing leagues, but tonight the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series looks to do battle for 115 laps here at this speedway, and I expect a lot of close racing, some tight corners, and some close action here tonight. That's definitely what you're going to see, and I want to welcome Brian Macklin to the booth as well. And Brian, one of those fun tracks to come to and to race on, but it's very tricky, and things can go bad awfully quick.
Oh man, this track is awesome. It's a shame that it shut down in real life. They had an opportunity to get this place back rolling, and it just didn't work out the way they were hoping. And it's really unfortunate because this track is such a unique track, and it's so much fun. But like you said, you can get out of control here very quickly. This track is extremely bumpy, especially down in 3 and 4. You can hit those bumps, and it'll really upset the truck. So you're going to be really careful tonight to make sure you don't hit those bumps wrong. You're going to see these guys try to search around for a line as the tires fall off. You can actually kind of move up the track a little bit, but for the most part, you're going to see them stick right around that bottom line to try and hook that thing around the yellow line all the way around this racetrack.
That time, let's go take a look tonight at tonight's LSRTV starting lineup, and not making many starts this season, but when he does, he tries to make some noise. The 55, Brian Schoenberg, will start tonight on the pole with a fast time of a 23:7:48, and just 3 1,000ths behind him. That's the number 10 of Richard Beasley that will start on the outside of row number 1. Alan Elwood in the 5 truck will start third. Fourth goes to the fastest truck in practice. That's the 01 of Alex Bergeron. And J.D. Laird, looking for a strong night tonight, will start 5th.
Doy Woods will start on the outside of that row number 3, starting in the 6th position here tonight. Chad Coleman, he's really good at this track. He's really good in the trucks. He's starting 7th tonight. Look for him to be strong all night long. Adam Benefield will start P8. Alan Cryer will start P9. And rounding out the top 10, Tommy Ryan starts 10th tonight.
Justin Weaver in the 38 will roll off in that 11th spot. 12th goes to the 03 of Jake Simmons. Tyler Dalton will start 13th. 14th goes to Bentley Glazer. And Cody Welker will start 15th.
Paul Fugate starts 16th tonight. Joshua Geyer starts 17th. Tim Terry will start 18th. He's the last driver that took a time here tonight. The rest of these drivers took a provisional for this race. David Krikorian starts 19th. DJ Lyon is 20th. Paul Nicholas Cooper 21st. Louis Calderon is 22nd. And rounding out the field here tonight, John Wilco will start 23rd in this 23 truck field. This is going to be a very exciting race here tonight. I have a feeling once we see the tires fall off, Andy, you're going to see these guys really skating around. The bumps are going to play a big factor in this. And you're going to see a lot of comers and goers. The guys that are able to manage their tires the best are probably going to be the ones out front if this thing happens to stay green.
That's definitely going to be one of probably the worst tracks on the circuit that these guys will have to deal with as far as tire wear, but we get set to get this thing underway as the pace car heads to pit road, and we get set to get this underway. 115 laps. The ASCORS SegPay Truck Series is underway, and Brian Schoenberg will lead them into turn number 1, side by side for that second spot. You see him go way high there, but this is where it gets tricky. Turn number 2 gets so narrow and so tight, so quick. That's where we're going to see a lot of action here over this evening. The 10 started on the outside row, but now he's having a hard time even hanging on to that third spot. Probably going to lose another 2 as J.D. Laird looks to the inside off 4.
Yeah, he's going to drop from 2nd all the way back to the 5th position in just 1 lap. He's going to finally get in line behind J.D. Laird, and he goes straight to the bottom of the racetrack. You see that 0-1 machine of Alex Bergeron trying to make the middle groove work. He gets a good run on the number 5 of Alan Elwood as they work down the back straightaway into turn 3. He's going to make that pass and do it easily. Now he brings J.D. Laird along with him. That's going to leave now Alan Elwood out on the outside line. Richard Beasley in the 10 truck is now also going to look to the inside, see if he can't take that spot. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and as I say that, he looks low once again trying to get that run, but it's so hard to set up somebody to make a pass here at this track. The corners are so narrow and they're so sharp that it's extremely hard to get the momentum you need to get that run down the straightaway, Andy, to make that move and make that pass. You almost have to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake.
They're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened to the 5 truck right there. I had to sled up a couple laps ago off at turn number 4. That's going to take him a couple spots back right now, but the battle for the lead shaping up. How about the outside lane working for that 01 of Alex Bergeron? I would call him a rookie when you talk about him racing that 55 of Brian Schoenberg right there, but he makes it look pretty easy on the outside lane. J.D. Laird going to do the same on the outside lane, and that's kind of an interesting call here at Rockingham, but I'm not surprised at all to have these trucks work that well on that high side. and use that momentum. So very quickly, Alex Bergeron takes over the race lead, pulls out a couple truck lengths now over J.D. Laird, and then, of course, the 5, Alan Elwood, able to get around the 55 as well. And here comes the 10 now of Richard Beasley. He's looking for another spot. So that 55 maybe saving his tires early on, or maybe just having some struggles.
Well, it almost looks like he's having a little bit of a hard time here. He got pinned on this inside line, which is a little backwards from what I expected to see this early on in the race, but he got stuck down on that inside line when Alex Bergeron was able to make that move to the outside, and it really hurt him. It shuffled him all the way back from 1st to 5th, and he did much like we saw Richard Beasley do on the initial start. He just felt like a rock in that lap and a half or so that he was trapped down there. He's finally going to get settled in that 5th position. He was able to get in line in front of the 38 of Justin Weaver, so he's okay for the time being. He's about 2 seconds behind the race leader. Finally doing a good job. We have a little bit of a battle up here in front of us. Alan Elwood was trying to work to get around J.D. Laird and actually made that pass easily. He moves into the 2nd position, so now he's going to try to set his sights on Alex Bergeron. But how about Alex pulling away from the field here early on? He's got almost an 0.8 of a second gap over 2nd place Alan Elwood. Make that a 2nd now as they cross the line in the timing updates. He's really pulling away in a hurry here.
Yeah, he definitely is. Is this a case of him burning his stuff off early to get this lead, or is he able to save some tires while he does this as well? But we saw some speed out of Alex Bergeron this past Sunday as well at Charlotte in the Cup car when the Pro Geek Cup Series went to Charlotte. And the problem for him, though, just couldn't put it all together to come home with a solid ending to that one there. So we'll see if he can change that up just a bit. Continues to pull away now, 1.1 seconds over that 2nd spot of Alan Elwood as Elwood tries to pull himself away from J.D. Laird. The top 3, though, they've made a pretty good gap between themselves and Richard Beasley, as it looks like Brian Schoenberg still struggling with that truck, able to stay in front of that 38 for the time being, but Justin Weaver's there ready to pounce.
Yeah, Brian Schoenberg has really been fighting with what looks like a tight-end, loose-off condition with that 55 truck. He's really been struggling to get the car to turn into the corner, but then he gets snappy loose on corner exit, and you're seeing that a lot with his truck here. Justin Weaver's doing a very good job pacing himself behind him, but this is one of those situations, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, where you have to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake. It's so hard to set someone up to make that pass because of how short the corners are and how narrow they are. You have to wait for him to make a mistake, so that's what we see that 38 machine doing right now. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of a battle right behind them. It's between Tyler Dalton and Doy Woods. It was a battle. The 19 of Tyler Dalton easily gets past Doy Woods there, and he's going to move up into the 8th position. That looked like it was a situation where Doy Woods got really tight and was going to hit the wall if he didn't back out of it, so he had to give that position up. But back to what we're seeing with Brian Schoenberg, I don't want to say this is tire conservation because it just doesn't look like he's got a good handle on the truck, but as you see, he gets really loose off turn 2 right there. That's going to open the outside lineup for that 38 of Justin Weaver, and he's going to take it here as they go down to the turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's going to try to make something work here. Not going to happen, though, at least for that. It's going to actually open the door up for Adam Benefield in that 83 truck to make the pass on him. So move that 83 truck up one more spot. That's going to put him in that 6th spot now as he looks to get a top 5 here early on. 13 laps into it. Pretty good pace these drivers are setting right now. I'm not surprised there's not a caution, but I am kind of rather shocked that there wasn't early on when these guys were all double filed up there on that restart. It usually gets pretty tricky, but a great job by all these drivers to give each other room, let things basically settle down. And if they got a faster truck, now's the time that they can start picking these drivers off one at a time. Adam Benefield, one of those guys, week after week, just been getting some solid finishes over and over and over again. And actually, it was a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row, he got a couple top 3 finishes right there behind guys like Adam Gilliland and Timmy Hill. So he's been running really, really well as of late. Didn't quite have the finish he wanted last week, but still overall a great first segment here in the truck series for that 83 truck.
Yeah, Adam Benefield is one of the best in the business in this series, and in iRacing in general. I've raced with him a lot over the last couple of years, and he's just one of those guys where he may not show the hot lap speed, he may not show the qualifying speed, and that's certainly the case here tonight. 10th in practice and 8th in qualifying, but he is so good at racing. He's so good at managing his tires and just putting himself in the right position at the right time, and he's just one of those guys where if things fall his way, he lights it up, and he's usually one of those guys you have to worry about winning. I want to go up front for a second, though. Alan Elwood is starting starting to sneak up on the back bumper of Alex Bergeron. He's cut this gap down from just over a second to about 0.6 of a second, so he's slowly starting to work his way up there. He's cutting about a 0.5 to a tenth off a lap. So back to what you said, Andy, it looks like that 01 might have burned his stuff up in the beginning of this race, trying to get out front to an early lead. And now that this thing is stretched out and appears to be getting into a pretty long green flag run, this may come back to bite him because he's starting to fall back to that number 5 machine. And I do believe the 23 of JD Laird is closing in just a little bit as well. So this could speak trouble for this number 01 machine if it stays green for much longer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what they say with this new build, or I call it a new build, but it's new till the next one comes out. This most recent build with this tire wear, wow, almost close right there off of turn number 4 there. Looks like the 62 of Wilco having some problems off of 3 and 4 there. Almost came down into that 5 truck. But like I was saying, with this build that has been out for a few weeks now, the tire wear has been one of those, if you don't conserve in the first 8 to 10 laps, then after about lap 15 or so, that's when it start to really fall off of the race truck. And that's exactly what we're seeing, I think, right now with this 01 of Alex Bergeron as the gap continues to close down. 0.5 second that last time by. This time now is a complete lap number 19. It's going to drop even more down to 0.4 of a second now. So that 5 truck really starting to reel him in now. And we're getting close to that point, though. You're probably going to see these guys pit probably about 30 to 35 laps into a run. So for Bergeron, maybe that's what he was trying for, is to get out as quickly as he possibly can and try to hang on to what he could until that first pit stop. But you can see right there the gap is closed to 5 now. Looking to the inside as they head back to turn 1.
Yeah, Alan Elwood is there. He pins that truck to the bottom of the racetrack down in turns 1 and 2, trying to get the run up off the corner, and the 01 got a little loose off the corner. That's going to allow Alan Elwood to take the lead. So we have a lead change here as we come to lap number 22, and they complete lap 21. Alan Elwood to the point. That's going to be our second lead change of the evening. A very good move there by Alan. He did a good job managing his tires, and now he's out front, and I have a feeling you'll see him set sail here as the laps wind on. I'm a little nervous about that strategy of short pitting here on a short track. It's one thing when you're at a 1.5 mile track and you're only going to lose 1 lap coming to pit road and getting your tires and fuel under green like that. If you do that here, you're almost certainly going to lose at least 2 laps, and if a caution comes out in the middle of that, you're hurt even worse than you would be at a 1.5 miles. At the 1.5 mile tracks, you could take the wave around, get back on the lead lap, and just be at the tail end. But you're more than likely going to lose 2 here, so if a caution comes out, you take the wave around, you're going to have to make up another lap. That's just a very risky strategy. I'm sure you're going to see some guys try it, but I don't know if I could do it if I was in the driver's seat here tonight. I think I'd want to just try to run this thing out as far as I could and try to manage the tires the best that I could until I absolutely had no choice to pit.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks, by taking a gamble like that to come down early, it is one of those tracks that single car or single truck spins, anything like that could easily happen at this place to cause a caution. So it doesn't necessarily, even though things are spread out like they are here, been green since the drop of the green here, some 24 laps ago. Just because it's got that green flag feel, it still doesn't mean that a caution can't come out. So you are rolling the dice, I would say, if you do decide to come down in short pit. But I would not be surprised if we see some guys maybe just outside the top 10 to do that here in this race here, to try to gain some of that time they've already lost here. It's only about 13 trucks are within 10 seconds of our race leader. So there's still lots of time in this race, obviously 115 laps, but it's still, it'll click off pretty quick with this 1 mile speedway.
A very, very scary moment for the 01 off turn 4. He came inches away from hitting that turn 4 wall. Could have been a very disastrous moment for him. He did a good job hanging on to that thing, and he only lost about 1/10 of a second off the race leader. I'm actually really impressed with him. He's done a good job staying pretty close to Alan Elwood since the change for the lead was made. I really thought you were going to see Alan just drive away from him, but they've stayed fairly close. I'm not sure if that's because Alan is still managing his tires or if Alex actually found something after he got behind him. It's very possible that he saw something that Alan was doing differently and decided to try it, and it worked for him. That could be the case, but he's managed to keep this thing within 1/2 second here. They got 3.2 seconds over the next guy out here on the racetrack. That's JD Laird in the number 23 machine, and he's holding off Brian Schoenberg, who has actually done a pretty good job. We were talking about him struggling earlier on, but he's moved back up into the 4th position and has been closing in on that number 23 machine over the last couple of laps. He's down just under half a second behind JD, trying to get that 3rd position back. He's starting to march his way back to the front. He's not quite quicker than the race leader right now, but he's doing a good job hanging on, and it looks like he's going to be challenging for that 3rd position very soon. Adam Benefiel has also moved up into the 5th position after starting 8th here tonight, so we're seeing him come to the front slowly but surely as well. This is just one of those races that Adam Benefiel really will excel in if it stays like this. I have a feeling you'll see him challenging for the race lead before the end of the night if it stays green like this. He's doing a very good job. We see Brian Schoenberg got a really good run off turn 2, though. He's looking at the 23, trying to get under him as they go down in the 3.
On board the 55 of Brian Schoenberg now, as you can watch him. A little bit of wiggle there. I'm looking at all these trucks actually off of 2 or 4, all of them. I don't think there's one stable truck out there. Even the leaders have been kind of bobbling this thing, so the handling definitely starting to deteriorate as we're about 30 laps into this run here. You can see the 83 just all over it. These guys sawing at that wheel to keep that thing straight, but you got to give them a lot of credit for being able to keep that straight too. The 01 lost a bunch of time a couple laps ago because he bobbled through 3 and 4, so it just you're seeing it here on the racetrack right now as the battle for that 3rd spot heats up. Here comes that 55 now down to the inside, and Eddie Laird goes way up high, lets him go right there. A veteran move, a classy move right there by that 23, and we'll give up that spot, move that 55 back up another here after starting on the pole.
Yeah, he moves back into that 3rd position. Now he's going to try to see if he can't make up some time. He's got over 3.8 seconds to make up if he's going to get to the race leader. About 2.8 seconds to get to 2nd place. Alex Bergeron has fallen to about a second behind our race leader, Alan Elwood, right now. And you see now JD Laird's going to fall behind Adam Benefiel, who has a very scary moment off turn 2. He got loose trying to make that pass. Did a very good job hanging on to it, but that could have easily ended up with his truck facing the inside wall. Did a good job there. That's going to move him into 4th, and now they're going to work through some lap traffic. He's starting to try to reel in Brian Schoenberg as we speak. This is probably the best battle we have on the track right now. These 3 trucks, they've been pretty close together for about the last 15 laps or so, and it doesn't seem like there's really much parity between these 2. They're all pretty equal, so they're doing a good job racing each other cleanly. I like the respect shown by JD Laird letting these guys go. He realized they were quicker, and he just decided to let them go there, so a very respectful move by him. That's what you like to see on the racetrack. But Brian Schoenberg, I like what he's done, rebounding from falling back all the way to the, I believe he fell back to 6th, was it, Andy? And he's done a good job moving back up into that 3rd position. He gets really loose off turn 2, though.
Yeah, you're seeing this with all the trucks. I'm telling you, it's getting worse and worse after every single lap. Even our leader cannot stay away from it either. These tires have literally pretty much fallen off the truck here as we work lap 35 of this race here. I expect the green flag pit stops to happen probably within the next 5 laps or so. We should start seeing some of these guys come down, so we'll stick around for that and see what happens with some of these guys and on their pit stops. Obviously, the call would be 4 tires for all these guys. We'll see what they can do on the pit stop. All throughout the field, though, taking a peek, not much going on. Some changing 4 positions here. Just happened a little further back. Alan Cryer looks like, or excuse me, the 66 of David Gregorian just made the pass on the 03 of Jake Simmons. That is the a spot up to 14th now for the 66 machine after starting in the 19th spot. So he's making up some spots, but he's definitely taking his time to get around these guys. So all over the racetrack, you get these little packs of 2 and 3 cars, and some guys having to deal with lap traffic like Doy Woods right now, and the 19 of Tyler Dalton just got around those the 32 machine of Joshua Geyer, so those guys moving their way up through as well. Looks like the 20 of Chad Coleman trying to get up through these guys as well. Chad Coleman, a good solid effort so far, up in the top 10 for him after starting in the 7th spot. So Alan Elwood has absolutely annihilated these guys over the last few laps here. I believe about 3 laps ago it was 1 second difference. And now you look at it, you look at the 01 now, 3 seconds back here. So obviously that 5 truck has something for the field here tonight. And why not? What a great run he's having. Thus far, very early on. It's going to take a lot for these guys to catch up to him, especially now the tires are worn out and it's getting awfully hairy out there with these guys coming off of turns 3 and 4, just absolutely sideways.
Yeah, definitely. We have seen this time and time again. Though this is what this track produces, though the bumps and just the abrasiveness of this racetrack. It creates this element that we see where these guys get extremely loose off the corner and the tires really fall off. We've seen almost a full 2-second drop off on the lap times for most of the field. Alan Elwood is the only one that really hasn't had that. He's about a second and a half fall off, but the rest of them have fallen off about 2 seconds here in the early stages of this race. He's doing a very good job. He's got 3.8 seconds now on Alex Bergeron, who's really starting to drop back. He's starting to fall back to the hands of Adam Benefield, just a little bit over 2 seconds, or under 2 seconds now. About 1.7 seconds separate those two, so they're starting to come in. And we actually have pit stops getting ready to start. I just saw our second place. He just announced that he's coming to pit road next time by. Alex Bergeron looks like he's finally decided to give up on these tires. He's going to come in and try to get some fresh tires so he can make up some time here.
Yeah, the first one I saw about a lap or two ago was the 16 of Alan Cryer, so he came down pit road first. Here comes the 01 now of Alex Bergeron. Said, I've had enough here. Falling way back. Brian Schoenberg will follow him in this time as well. So that 23 and the 83 decide to stay out at least for one more lap now as the 5 makes his way through 3 and 4. 4 tires of fuel is definitely going to be the call for these guys. And I think the 5 Alan Elwood going to stay out another lap here. So this will be interesting for where he comes out of this place, especially with those guys, Alex Bergeron and the 55 of Schoenberg coming down their pit road here. They're obviously going to be down a couple laps, but there's going to be a lot of time being made up, especially the longer the 5 stays out.
Yeah, the advantage that Alan has is he had about a 4-second lead, so he can stay out 2 to 3 laps longer than the rest of these guys before he's going to end up losing the lead. And here he comes now. He dives off turn 4 onto the apron, and he comes to pit road. It looks like he's going to do a good job getting down the speed, so he's on pit road now to finally get his fresh tires and get his fuel and get back out there. Adam Benefield is going to follow him in right behind him. It looks like J.D. Laird is going to stay out to take the lead. He did not lead at the stripe that time by, so if he was looking for a bonus point, he's going to stay out at least another lap. But Alan Elwood and Adam Benefield on pit road, coming to the attention of their crew. Of course, Alan Elwood qualified 3rd, so he has a very long ways to go. He just now slides into his box. Adam Benefield already in his box, looking for 4 tires and fuel so they can get back out on this racetrack. It's going to be interesting, like you said, Andy, to see where he comes out in relation to Alex Bergeron and the others that have already come to pit road. J.D. Laird and Richard Beasley are still out on the track, so as Alan Elwood gets ready to pull back onto the racetrack, he's going to merge on the back straightaway, and we'll see where he is in comparison to the rest of the guys that have already pitted.
Yeah, it looks like the 01 just coming off of turn number 2, so it looks like he'll actually stay out ahead of these guys here. Alan Elwood will, as he works his way off of turn number 4. So he's still about a corner, maybe about a straightaway distance, if it gives you a better reference. So that's about how far that 5 truck, I should say, has over the 01 still. J.D. Laird still out on the racetrack, a couple others as well. Tyler Dalton, Doy Woods, Justin Weaver, still out on that racetrack, trying to just stretch this, I guess, as far as they possibly can, maybe to try to make it one less stop than these guys over the course of the race. But most of our leaders down pit road, and it's interesting to see how far they're going to take this, because 115 lap race, they're going to have to go just about 58 laps on this tank. So you're looking at about another 10 laps for that 23 if he's going to make it on one stop.
Well, there's no doubt they can make it 58 laps on a tank of gas. You can go about 80 laps here on a tank of gas. The problem is the tires. We're seeing almost a 3-second drop-off for J.D. Laird and Richard Beasley and Justin Weaver, who are still out here on almost 50-lap-old tires. They qualified at 23.7s and 23.8s, and right now they're running, well, actually, Richard Beasley ran a 25.8, so that's only 2 seconds, but J.D. Laird is already down into the mid-26 range, so he's almost into that 3-second range. And you're going to give up so much time here that it may not benefit you to stay out this long, especially now that all these drivers have come to pit road. When he finally decides, or when any of these drivers finally decide to come to pit road, they're probably going to be 10 to 15 seconds behind your leader, Alan Elwood, and Alex Bergeron, and Brian Schoenberg, and all these other guys that have already pitted. We actually just saw Alan Elwood. He's getting ready to get his lap back the hard way. He's working around the second-place driver of Justin Weaver right now. And now he's about a second behind race leader Richard Beasley. And that's going to put him on the tail end of the lead lap when he does that, which is only about 24, 25 seconds. He's easily going to put this guy, get his lead back, and possibly put him about a half a lap down. So this is a very risky situation for these drivers to stay out here. Their best bet's going to be to get a caution very quickly, or it's going to hurt them in the long run.
And it sounds like the 90 or 19, I should say, is going to head down this time here as he calls it out, comes down pit road, slows it down off of turn number 4. And this is one of the more, I would say, slower pit roads as well, too. You're talking 40 miles an hour on pit road. I mean, that's putting it right about there with just a little bit faster than, say, Bristol. But it's awfully slow on this pit road, which is kind of interesting. It is a narrow pit road, but still, that's awfully slow. Like we talked about, you're going to lose a lot of time once you come down pit road with those trucks out there on the racetrack still. Richard Beasley, though, still on the racetrack, trying to log some laps. Looks like J.D. Laird going to come down pit road as well on lap number 52. So he's still got a couple guys out there trying to stretch it as far as they can. The 10 and the 38 still out on the racetrack. They're going to complete now lap number 52, and that puts us that much closer to the halfway point as well. So we're going to take this time as these last couple trucks decide to stick it out here. We're going to take this time to step away for a break of our own here. You've been watching the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Ready, aim, fire.
Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome me back here to Rockingham Speedway. ASCORS SegPay Truck Series is the last two drivers that stayed out on the racetrack make their way down pit road and take this time to get it out of the way. We want to thank SegPay. For over 10 years, SegPay has been processing online payment transactions for merchants in all categories with a specialization in helping retailers process credit card transactions. They are a leader in card-not-present transactions and have a strong relationship with acquiring banks and with credit card schemes. Learn more at segpay.com. SegPay, the proud sponsor of the ASCORS Truck Series. And also, Garrett Smithley Racing, the proud sponsor, of course, of Garrett Smithley and the number 0 JD Motorsports, the Chevy Camaro, as you can see week in and week out on the Xfinity Series on the NASCAR side. It's that time, though, as we take a look at our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and much, much more. Currently shown as your leader after the cycle of pit stops, that 5, Alan Elwood, 4.5 seconds now over the number 01. That's Alex Bergeron. Brian Schoenberg currently runs in the third spot. Adam Benefield all the way up to fourth. Fifth right now is the 20th, Chad Coleman. A great run for him. David Krikorian, how about him? From 19th up to 6th here, halfway through this one. Bentley Glazer, a solid run again for that driver in the 36. He runs 7th. 8th goes to Alan Cryer. Paul Cooper runs 9th currently, and last truck on the lead lap, 22 seconds back. That's the 10 of J.D. Laird.
Yeah, Doy Woods is the first truck 1 lap down right now. He sits in the 11th position. If he can get a caution, you get the lucky dog and you're back on the lead lap. Actually, that's going to change now. Justin Weaver is 11th. Richard Beasley is 12th. Doy Woods has fallen back to the 13th position, so a little bit of an exchange here on the track. 14th goes to Tommy Ryan. 15th is Jake Simmons. Tyler Dalton is 16th. And then these guys are all 2 laps down. We have Paul Fugate in 17th, 2 laps down. John Wilco is 18th. 19th goes to Cody Welker. Joshua Geyer is 20th. He's 3 laps down. And then Tim Terry did not have the night he was looking for. He's going to round this field out in the 21st position. He's on the pit road, 51 laps down, so not having the night he was looking for. And he finishes out this field. And this has been a look at your iRacing Midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. You can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 LSRTV when you register for a new iRacing membership to get the late model free of charge, along with the 13 cars and 14 tracks included with a first-time subscription. Andy, this is a really exciting race here. I did not expect it to go caution-free this far. These guys have done a really good job at hanging on to these trucks as loose as they've been, and they've done a really good job just being on top of it all night long. I did not expect this. I expected a handful of cautions, but it's been a runaway for Alan Elwood. Alex Bergeron trying to do the short pit strategy to get back some time, but he wasn't able to do it.
No, you're absolutely right. He's made up a couple tenths here over the last couple of laps, though. So, but still, almost 5 seconds back. That's a long way to go for that 0-1 of Alex Bergeron. Most of these guys here need a caution to let this thing settle back up, get some fresh tires back on it, so they can go back at it. Alan Elwood has just been absolutely phenomenal since he chased down that 0-1 early on in the race, took over the race lead, and hasn't looked back since. Brian Schoenberg, though, good recovery for him, following all the way back to that 6th spot there in those opening first 10 or 15 laps. He's been able to start picking them off since then. Still a long ways back, though, a little over 7 seconds back off of our race leader, so that 55's got a lot of work to do. But Alan Elwood pretty much on cruise control to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a really good job out there with a 4.4 second advantage over Alex Bergeron. You see the 38 of Justin Weaver. He's trying to get his lap back the hard way. He's on fresher tires because he was one of those drivers that chose to stay out a little bit longer than Alan did. So he's got the advantage of the tires, but he's still trapped 1 lap down. This would put him back on the lead lap. I don't think you'll see Alan challenge him, and actually I hear on the radio that he's going to let him go, and there you see it. Justin Weaver is going to be able to get on by cleanly, so that moves him back onto the lead lap temporarily. You see Richard Beasley also right behind him. These guys have the advantage of fresh tires right now, but we already know that Alan Elwood and Alex Bergeron and Brian Schoenberg and the rest of these drivers, they've elected to do at least a 2-stop strategy, which I think is all you'll see any of these drivers do is 2 stops. But with Richard Beasley, Justin Weaver, and a handful of these other drivers electing to do the 1-stop strategy, it's going to make for an interesting ending to this race because we're going to have Alan Elwood and Alex Bergeron charging on fresh tires where these guys are going to be on defense trying to hang on old tires, because I do not think you'll see them come back to pit road at all for the rest of this race unless we have a caution, which right now would hurt them because while they're back on the lead lap, they would have lost all their track positions sitting back there in the 10th and 11th and 12th position for these guys.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brian. This is just, it's going to make this thing absolutely phenomenal here at the end of this here. Alex Bergeron knocked off another 4 tenths, it looks like, over the last 3 laps or so, and so he continues to start to pick away a little bit at that lead that Alan Elwood has currently right now. Working lap number 72, we're getting closer and closer to the ending of this one, just 115 laps on the scheduled distance here, and we're putting up quite a show here, running all these green flag laps since the start of this race. They're making this one go by pretty quick. They're setting a fast pace in this one, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. This race is going to be over in less than an hour if it stays green like this. This is they're setting what I would have to believe would be close to record pace for this track to run this cleanly and to get through these laps as quickly as they are. This has been really impressive. What comes with that though is you see the field starting to get lapped. There's only 12 trucks on the lead lap right now. Of course, that is due in part to some of these guys being on fresh tires. They were able to get their laps back, but there's a handful of drivers that are going to be going a lap down here very soon, just because they're on. They've been out here for this whole race and they really haven't had the track position. Alan Cryer is one of those drivers. He's actually in the wall off turn 2 right in front of our race leader. Was able to keep it up there, and that's going to allow Alan Elwood to put him a lap down, but that could have been a very big moment right there for not only the 16 machine but also for our race leader. But as this race goes on, to get back to my point, you're going to see more and more of these drivers starting to fall a lap down. There's a handful of drivers that are 17, 18 seconds behind that as this thing stays green, they're eventually going to fall a lap down, and we could see just a handful of drivers on the lead lap at the end of this race. That's what happens when you have these long green flag stints and when you have a driver as dominant as Alan Elwood.
Yeah, dominance, just a slight term, I would say, on that one here. Leading the most laps here tonight. At this point, I believe nobody has an opportunity to surpass that as well, too. So Alan Elwood looking to capitalize on this racetrack here tonight, get the job done, get his first win of the season as well, too. So obviously that's one of the game plans for a lot of these guys. It's just absolutely they're coming out here to have some fun and to get some wins and get the job done. And for Alan Elwood, we've seen him a couple races so far this season and had the speed, but just not quite getting the finishes that he wanted in the starts that he had here this season. So he's got to be pretty happy at this point here. Pulls away now, about a whole second now over that 0-1 of Alex Bergeron. So as these tires start to wear off here and we get closer and closer to where these guys that are up to the front made their pit stop somewhere around that lap 40 mark. So you'll see them probably in the next 5 to 10 laps here come down for that second and final stop for them, and then it's going to be really game on from there if they can actually catch these guys or not. Guys like Alan Elwood with the fuel strategy, though, they could make it to the end, even though they pitted about lap 45 or so. They have the opportunity that if they want to stay out, they can. The problem is, do they stay out? Do they try it now? Or because they're going to be even that much slower than the guys that are trying to make this on one stop.
It's certainly something they could consider. I think coming to pit road, now that they've made their beds as far as that's concerned, I think coming back to pit road and getting tires one more time is probably their best bet, because if this thing stays green to the finish, I have a feeling you're going to see J.D. Laird and Justin Weaver and Richard Beasley be able to run those guys down and actually maybe even challenge for that race lead before the end of the race. So I think if you're Alan Elwood, if you're Brian Schoenberg, if you're any of these drivers, you're going to have to come back to pit road one more time. You've made your bet at this point. You're going to have to lie on it. To go back to when they pitted, Alex Bergeron and Brian Schoenberg were the first two to come to pit road. They came on lap 42. Adam Benefield came on lap 44, and Alan Elwood came on lap 45. So they would potentially go another 4 to 5 laps before we'd see any of these drivers coming to pit road. And as I say that, Alex Bergeron has made it known that he's coming to pit road, so he's decided enough is enough. He's fallen 8 seconds behind our race leader, so I think he's just hoping that maybe he can get lucky and these guys stay out for a couple of laps. He's going to be coming to the attention of his pit crew in just a moment. He's on the back straightaway right now, but he has made his intentions known. He's coming to pit road this time by, and we should see the rest of these guys coming very soon, short after him.
Yeah, we should. Look at trouble off turn number 4, that 55, Brian Schoenberg, who had made his way up to second. Got real loose right there in front of that 36 of Bentley Glazer, who just came off of pit road. He's got the fresher tire, so trying to make his way around that 55. He's able to do so as the 83 of Adam Benefield sits behind and watches this one. You mentioned Alex Bergeron. He was one of the first ones to come down pit road, and he makes his way down to his pit box now very slowly at 40 miles an hour, and he'll pull in. 4 tires and fuel will be the call for him as Alan Elwood stays out on the racetrack, has almost an 8-second lead now on that 55 of Brian Schoenberg. And we did say that Schoenberg came in rather early as well, too, so we'll see how many more laps he decides to stay out as the 01 gets his service done and makes his way back out onto the racetrack. But here comes that 5 truck as well. I don't think he's going to quite put him down a one more lap here, but you're definitely down a lap, almost 2 by the time you make a pit stop here at this racetrack. So definitely something to keep in the mind as we move along here and we get closer and closer to this final pit stop for these drivers. And It's all going to happen relatively quickly, and they can't wait too long because then once they get back out on the racetrack, Brian, they're not going to have that many laps to try to catch these guys like J.D. Laird and Justin Weaver that stayed out.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. And that would be a concern that I have if I'm Alan Elwood or Brian Schoenberg. If I plan on coming back to pit road, I'd want to do it right now because we're at 30 laps to go right now. They need time, like you said, to try to run those guys back down. Granted, they're going to have a major tire advantage over them, but they don't want to wait too long and then put themselves in a position where they're not going to have time to get there. And as we talk about that, here comes Adam Benefield to pit road. He's finally decided he's going to come down and get tires. This is a little bit of a cat and mouse game, I think, for Brian Schoenberg and Alan Elwood and Adam Benefield. I have a feeling with Alan having the lead that he has, he wasn't going to come to pit road until he knew the rest of his challengers were on pit road as well. He has a big enough lead where he can stay out there for a lap or two longer than everybody else and wait for them to come, so he has the freshest tires. That's the advantage he has, being as far out as he has. But now that we've seen Adam Benefield come to pit road, you have to believe these other two are going to come pretty soon because they're giving up about 2.5 seconds once Adam gets back out on the track. They can't really afford to stay out there too much longer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but I'm looking at the lap times, though, and you look at what J.D. Laird and Justin Weaver, they're actually losing time to Alan Elwood right now. So if Alan can make it on fuel, I mean, would it be a bad call at this point to stay out?
It would be an intriguing call to me. Adam Benefield is almost 2 full laps down. He's actually right in front of our race leader, Alan Elwood, working off turn 4. He's probably about 2 seconds or so ahead of him, so he has to make up the whole track once just to get his lap back, and then he also still has to get back around to find the race leader, and with less than 30 laps to go, that's a tall order for that 83 machine, so this could be something we could see Alan Elwood and Brian Schoenberg try. It's something they could certainly go for. They can make it to the end on fuel. That's not a concern, and since they're not losing time to those guys that pitted later than them, they don't have to worry about them. So now their biggest competition will be that 83 machine. If they elect to stay out, it's going to be a matter of if and when he can get there. He's running a lot faster lap times right now, running about 1.8 seconds quicker than our race leader, Alan Elwood. Actually, as I say that, Adam Benefield just ran 2 full seconds quicker than our race leader, so he's doing a very good job making up some time here, but he's got a long ways to go if he's going to make it happen. This might be the right call to stay out for these other 2 drivers. This might actually work out for him pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, just do the math. 2 laps, you're looking, that's about 50 seconds that 83 needs to make up in 25 laps. He basically has to go 2 laps or 2 seconds a lap faster, and that's just to get to the 5 car. That's not to count how what time he's going to lose trying to pass some of the lap cars or anything like that either. So I really think that this is absolutely in Elwood's hands as to whether he wants to pit or not. I mean, he's still pulled away from Brian Schoenberg. He's still maintaining about a 22-second gap to Justin Weaver and J.D. Laird. I mean, if those tires don't fall off that truck and he's got enough fuel, I mean, I would just stay out at this point. I mean, why even come down here as we're approaching 20 to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And if a caution comes out, it works in his favor too, because then you trap the 83 a lap down. You trap most of the field down a lap right now. There's only 5 trucks on the lead lap, so staying out would make sense if you're Alan Elwood, if you're Brian Schoenberg. Keep these guys down a lap and hope that it stays green, or hope that if a caution comes out, it's before either of them get their laps back and put them in a position to be able to challenge for that race lead. But if you're Alan Elwood, I don't think you have to worry about it regardless, because he's had the best truck all night. Short run, long run, it doesn't seem to matter. He's got the fastest truck here. He's almost 11 seconds ahead of Brian Schoenberg, and he was about that ahead of Adam Benefield before this happened. So I don't really think he's got any concerns. I think it's more so a battle for that second position that we would be more concerned about, as far as who would get that between Brian Schoenberg and Adam Benefield and a handful of these other drivers. Alex Bergeron, who any of these drivers have been fast enough for second place. That's one thing that Adam Benefield is going to have to work on. He's going to be chasing that 0-1 who also came to pit road to see if he can't run him down. That is one thing we didn't talk about. Alex Bergeron came to pit road before Adam Benefield. He's out there probably about almost a full straightaway ahead of Adam Benefield right now. He's got a pretty good gap over him. Could he be a threat for this race win?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I still think, though, still being a lap down, he's got to make up that 25 seconds or so. Plus, he's got to make up the time. I just think these guys are absolutely just running out of time, honestly. We're at that point right now with 20 to go, and at 20 to go goes by pretty quick on this mile speedway. So I really think that 5 Trucks looking to stick this thing out to the end here. He's obviously probably got enough fuel to make it, and by looking at the lap times, there's absolutely no reason he continues to pull away from Brian Schoenberg. The only real concern, I think, or real threat that anybody has here to lose a spot is that 55. I mean, that 10 to 20 or 38 and 23, they're absolutely within striking distance to get that 55 before the end of this race.
Yeah, with less than 20 laps to go, we're going to find out very soon how this is going to play out for all of these drivers. I think at this point we know for sure Alan Elwood, Brian Schoenberg, Richard Beasley, these guys are not coming back to pit road unless we have a caution. There's not enough laps left now. If they pit, they're going to end up being behind Alex Bergeron and Adam Benefield, and they're not going to have enough laps, I don't believe, to do anything with it. So at this point, you've made your bed. You have to lie in it. You have to stay out at this point. But Alan Elwood, this is just such an impressive run. I expected a little bit more of a tight race for the race lead, and he has just completely blown that away. And this is just one of those tracks where if you get into a rhythm, if you know where the line is, and if you can hit your marks lap after lap, you're going to do it, and that's exactly what we've seen Alan do tonight. This has just been a really impressive drive for the number 5 machine, and like you mentioned, he hasn't had the results he's looked for in this series so far, so this is going to be a really big moment for this team to try to boost them up and give them some momentum going into next week, and just a really solid run for these guys, and hopefully they can bring it home.
You're absolutely right. We're going to take a quick pit stop here of our own. We'll go LSRTV non-stop as we got just about 15 laps to go. 13-second lead for Alan Elwood. He's got it on cruise control right now. You're watching the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series right here on iRacing Live. Welcome you back here to Rockingham Speedway as we get set to get the last 10 laps under our belts here. Alan Elwood continuing to lead 13 seconds now over number 10 of Richard Beasley, who just recently took over that second spot from Brian Schoenberg. Schoenberg about a 4-second cushion he's got now back to that 4th spot of Justin Weaver, who's still trying to catch him. Alex Bergeron, David Krikorian, and Adam Benefield had just went around the leader of Alan Elwood. So they've gotten themselves back on the lead lap. 25 trucks, 8 trucks now left on the lead lap here. in this one here as Alan Elwood crosses the start-finish line and takes 8 to go.
Yeah, 8 to go, and while we don't really see any threat for the race lead, now the battle is on to see if Alex Bergeron can catch the second-place driver, Richard Beasley. He's moved up into the 4th position since getting his lap back. He's about 20 seconds behind the race leader, so no threat that we know of to be able to get to the race leader. He's got a long ways to go. He is cutting about 1.5, 1.6 seconds off a lap, but not enough laps left with just 8 laps to go here and for him to be able to do anything with it. But he is about 7 seconds behind Richard Beasley, and at the pace that he's running, he should be able to catch him before the end of this race and then be able to maybe challenge for that second place position. He's about 3 seconds behind Brian Schoenberg and easily closing in on him. Actually, as I say that, that's now only about a 1.3 second advantage. That's how quickly he is gaining on these guys on fresh or on old tires as he just kills Brian Schoenberg. Brian actually got into the wall there coming off turn 2, which is really going to hurt him as now here comes Alex Bergeron. He's going to easily power by and take that 3rd position away.
Going to go way, way, way up to the high side right there to get the job done, but that's going to knock that 55 off of the podium here tonight and give Alex Bergeron an opportunity to get that done here tonight. He's still got about 6 seconds now to make up on that second-place driver of Richard Beasley, and Richard Beasley not making up any ground on our race leader at all here in this one. 5 laps left to go, make it 4.5 now as the 5 truck makes his way down the back straightaway and back into turn number 3, and he's looking for his first win on the season.
Yeah, and with no threat behind him, he's got 11 seconds over Richard Beasley. He can just hit his marks, take his time, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes here. He's been flawless all night long. Now is not the time to have any issues or make any mistakes. He doesn't need to worry about trying to lap any trucks. Just take his time here. Don't get yourself caught up in anything you don't want to be in. Just bring it home clean and green. He actually hasn't been pulling away from Richard Beasley hardly at all here the last couple of laps. He's actually given up a little bit of time, but not really an issue with the lead that he's got. Alex Bergeron, though, he's closing in. He's about 4 seconds behind right now. He's steadily getting there. He's running out of laps, though. They're coming to 3 laps to go now. He's starting to get to that point where if he's going to make something happen, he's going to have to do it really quickly. And I'm starting to think he may not have time to get to Richard Beasley.
Yeah, definitely the laps are not in his favor right now, plus a lap truck right in front of him. The 91 at Doy Wood said he would have to get around as well, too, so that might hinder his ability to close the gap that much more, but it doesn't. Look at that 91 way up to the top, just says, go on, kid, go get him. Now he'll try to set his sights on him here, but he's still got about a full corner to do it because right now that 10 truck crossed the line right here with 2 to go, and Alan Elwood looking at 1.5 laps to go here as he works his way into turn number 3, and he's looking for that white flag this time.
And he's going to come off turn 4 right now to see the white flag. He's got to do it one more time if he's going to bring it home clean and green. This has been a caution-free race. What an incredible run for everybody here, but especially for that 5 truck. Alex Bergeron has pretty much ran out of time. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Less than a lap to go, and he's still got about a 2-second disadvantage. So as I work through 3 and 4, here comes Alan Elwood to take home his first victory of the night.
Alan Elwood off of turn number 4, looking for it now. Doesn't have far to go. He'll get the job done. Get race win number 1 on the season and just his 7th start in the 11 races so far this season and his 4th top 10 in those 7 starts. A great job by him and not enough for the Alex Bergeron in that number 01 to catch Richard Beasley. He'll come home in that 3rd spot, but he definitely closed the gap just by almost 2 seconds there. He had, how about Adam Benefiel? Squeezing in a top 5 out of this one. Coming home in that 4th spot as David Gregorian finishes out in the 5th position. We'll talk to your winner. Rest of the top 3 here in just a moment for the LSRTV post-race show. It's coming up in just a moment right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. It's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and every year I've come here, being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads, so when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion. Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome you back here to the Rockingham Speedway. We just concluded the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series, the Carolina 115. How about this? 48 minutes, just about 49 minutes to complete this one. Green flag the whole way. A fantastic race. A great job by all these drivers out there. Probably what we talked about in the pre-race show, one of the toughest tracks to get around, and that how quickly these corners can sneak up on you and how rough the surface is and the tires go away. Well, we saw plenty of sliding around and slipping and sliding everywhere, but these guys ultimate control over their trucks all night long, and we had ourselves a green flag race here tonight. Alan Elwood, of course, as we take a look at our full field results, Alan Elwood, of course, picks up the win. 9.5 seconds over that number 10 at Richard Beasley. A strong effort for him after starting in that second spot. Alex Bergeron, a great run, a great rebound, making that extra pit stop. He comes home in the third spot. Fourth goes to Adam Benefield. David Krikorian will come home in the fifth spot. Sixth goes to Brian Schoenberg. J.D. Laird had a strong run. Top 10 finish in the seventh spot. Eighth goes to Justin Weaver. Last truck on the lead lap, and the first one lap down. That's the 20 of Chad Coleman. He'll finish ninth. And rounding out your top 10 tonight, that's 36 of Bentley Glazer.
Tommy Ryan will finish in the 11th position here tonight. Doy Woods finishes 12th. Tyler Dalton is 13th. Paul Nicholas Cooper will come home 14th. He's the last driver that finished one lap down. Alan Cryer, not having the night he was looking for, finished 15th. Jake Simmons gets 16th. Cody Welker is 17th. Joshua Geyer is 18th. 19th is John Wilco, and he was actually the last driver that finished this race. Paul Fugate finishes 20th, 31 laps down, and Tim Terry finishes 21st, 104 laps down. Neither of those drivers able to complete the race here tonight, and unfortunately finished this race like that. And it's been a look at your full field rundown. Alan Elwood has done a really good job here tonight, and Andy, I believe you caught up with him down in Gatorade Victory Lane. He's celebrating already, having a heck of a time down there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Down here in Victory Lane, caught up with our winner here tonight at Rockingham, Alan Elwood. Congratulations, Alan. Fantastic run, dominating performance for you here at the Rock.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. To be honest, I was pretty excited when this track showed up on the schedule because this usually seems to be one of my stronger tracks to run at. So I was just hoping tonight I could put in a solid performance. And when we got into practice, my time was a little bit off, and I was kind of concerned. I couldn't quite figure out the line there at first, but then qualifying came around, laid down actually a good lap for once compared to most of the races this season, and there the first few laps tried to take care of my tires and slowly picked them off one by one, and sure enough we built a big enough lead that during pit stops it seemed to kind of work out in my favor, and kind of from there I was trying to ride it out as I knew I'd have enough fuel to make it to the end, so I was just trying to see how much of a gap we could keep, and it worked out.
Absolutely worked out. I mean, you said it's one of your better tracks. I would definitely say it definitely is. A fantastic job here. One of the, I wouldn't say it's a tough track, but it's definitely a unique and maybe a fun track. But it is one of those that if you don't have a good grip on it, if you don't have that idea of which line, it could make for a long night. We saw that with some of the drivers out here, but you were able, like you said, after practice, during qualifying, you kind of found that lap, and you were able to turn that over into the race. And once you took over that race lead, about 20 laps or so into it, you really never looked back.
Yeah, I think this track tends to fit into my driving style a little bit better than some of them. Not necessarily that I'm a bad driver at other places, but this one just kind of seems to. I like it when you have to use the throttle to get the vehicle to turn, use it to your advantage coming off the corner, that type of deal. So, along with trying to really manage the bumps around this place, I think that's the biggest challenge. And if you know how to use the brake and gas well enough around here, you can usually keep the line usually every lap.
Now, we had some interesting takes on strategy. You came in a little bit after lap 40 there and looked like you were going to make it a two-stop race, and then you saw some of those guys stay out basically just past the halfway point. Were you kind of debating at that point if you were going to come down for that second time, or by looking at the lap times there with about 30 to go, you realized that they weren't gaining on you, there was really no point?
Well, if you remember well enough, Charlotte kind of came down to fuel strategy, and I led a bunch of laps there and kind of got bit. And I made sure this time around, noticing how we were running green the whole race to that point, that I needed to make sure I paid attention, well enough to strategy, see what everybody else was doing. So as I came around during those green flag pit stops and saw everybody else in, I was like, okay, I need to come in now. Otherwise, I'm going to sacrifice too much time because the fall off is so huge here. So I decided to make the pit stop then, and then, like I said, I noticed that we had enough fuel to make it to the end. A bunch of guys were trying to stretch it, but after a few laps, everybody was evening out, so I really wasn't too concerned about the time for people to catch up. So I kind of thought about the second pit stop at first, but in the end, I didn't see it was worth it.
Yeah, there was a couple guys that did try it. Ultimately, the biggest mover, I guess, was Alex Bergeron, able to finish in that third spot, but he's still 11 seconds behind you, so obviously your strategy was the one that came out on top here tonight. You've only made a partial schedule here so far this season. This is your seventh start, but your first win on the season. So I guess with the chase that they put into effect towards the later of the season, this gives you a great opportunity here to run for the championship when its time comes.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Real life kind of gets in the way sometimes, and I haven't been able to make all the races as I wish, but in the end, it feels awesome to win tonight between this league, and this is my first ever broadcast win, and especially being on LSRTV. It feels awesome, and I'm super glad I could have made the race tonight, so I guess it all kind of worked out in the end.
It absolutely did. You get yourself the victory here tonight in your seventh start. Sponsor shout-outs, Alan. Who helps you get here?
Well, I would like to thank my real life sponsors. A quick shout out to them that we run karting. You guys can check us out at Elwood Motorsports on Facebook there. Performance Powder Coating, Bourne's Bentnell Ridge, South Graphics, Halbert Performance, JSW Retirement Fishing, Country Roads Photography, and Elwood Designs. I'd like to thank Brian and the whole ASCORS crew, along with you guys here at LSRTV, for making this happen every week. It's truly an honor.
There you have it. Congratulations, Alan, on the win here. One more week left in the segment, but we got to set our eyes on segment number 2 in just a couple weeks' time, and you pick yourself up a victory here at Rockingham. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm going to send it down now onto pit road, and Brian is caught up with our third-place finisher, Alex Bergeron.
I have caught up with Alex Bergeron here. Alex, a very interesting race for you here tonight. You elected to do the two-stop strategy to see if you could make that work out and maybe steal a win away from Alan Elwood. It didn't work out for you, but you came really close. You got a third-place finish. Take us through your night and talk about why you chose to go with that two-stop strategy.
Well, at middle of the race, I saw Alan just pass me, and then I made my pit stop, and after that my tire were falling off. It's my first time on this track. I never really run it, so actually it's a good place to finish in third, but I mean, I pitted because I thought people were gonna pit after me pitting, so, but it didn't happen, but I have to make my way to third place, and that's it.
If you could have done anything differently tonight to try to win this race, what would you have done differently to put yourself in a better position than you ended up in?
Actually, I will have saved more tire than what I did, but didn't thought tire were falling off as much as this. So.
Did you anticipate this race going green flag from start to finish, or were you expecting a couple of cautions here tonight?
Oh yeah, I was expecting 1 or 2 caution, especially in the first 20 laps or 50 laps, but didn't happen. But racing is racing.
And next week you guys are going to Pocono. How do you feel about that track? Do you think you can go out there and get a victory there next week?
Yeah, actually, Pocono is maybe one of my favorite track, and it's a triangle, so like everyone knows, it's something very special. And I think I got a good chance, so it will be my second start next week, and I'm hoping for a win.
Well, good luck to you there. Congratulations on your third place finish here tonight at Rockingham. Before we let you go, just want to give you a chance to say thank you to your sponsors and say hello to any friends or family that might be watching here tonight. Who makes it happen for you, Alex?
Actually, nobody's making me go racing. It's me myself, but I have to thank everybody watching. My friend just I said I was racing tonight, so maybe they're watching right now. So shout out to them. And yeah, but I got no sponsor, so it's hard to do, but I'm doing well.
All right, well, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. Good luck next week at Pocono, Alex.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, that was our third place finisher there, Alex Bergeron, with a good run tonight. Took the two-stop strategy, and now, Andy, I believe you've caught up with Adam Benefiel, our fourth place finisher. He also went with the two-stop strategy and tried to make it work, but came up just a little short.
Yeah, he definitely came up just a little bit short. Still came out with a top 5, and you go and look at the stats for this season. Just a 7th start on the season, Adam, but it's your 5th top 5. So been very strong when you have made the starts here.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good runs. It's been good racing. We've stayed out of trouble and been able to put ourselves remotely somewhere up front at the end of the race, and been able to get the top 5s, keep them rolling. So hopefully we can do that heading into this last week.
Yeah, we talk about to the other two guys about the strategy. We saw it play out for Alan Elwood, just the one stop. We saw some other guys trying to do it too, but they stretched it to the halfway point. And we saw them really struggle there towards the end. Still ended up with top 10 finishes. But was it a 2-tire stop strategy for you the whole way, right from the drop of the green, or just because of the way the cautions didn't even come. Is that what led you to trying a two-stop race?
Yeah, I mean, when we started, me and my teammate Bentley, we talked about doing two-stop. But neither one of us would have thought that one stop would have been the way to go. And still, I don't think it was the way to go. I think Allen was just on freaking rails, and he got such a gap. That's what helped him. Schoenberg, I pitted. I was right on his bumper, and I pitted, and I ended up passing him there at the end. So I think the gap that Allen built really helped him out right there. I think Alex was close to whoever finished second. But, I mean, it's shoulda, coulda, woulda. We went 2. He went 1. He won. But it's all good. I mean, this track it's old. It's famous. You got to get up on the wheel and you got to drive. It ain't just about, getting off the gas or holding it wide open, turning it to the left. You got to get up on the wheel, and the way that the tires fall off here and the truck moves around, it gets free and everything. I think it really benefits, people that have drove, real life. And I know with me, with Dirt and Allen, both of us coming from dirt oval karts, we're kind of used to stuff like this. So, it wasn't really surprising to see Allen run so good like that.
Yeah, it's actually one of the things he said that he kind of liked it because he's got to finesse the throttle off the corner. It helps you turn and helps you get off these corners. So it was able to work for him, able to work for you with another top 5 finish in this series, and obviously limited starts in this series. And we know what you've been doing over in the Cup side of things this season as well, too, Adam. But sponsors, shout-outs, give you an opportunity here to thank some people before we let you go.
Yeah, Roll Speed Dynamics, they're always with me since day one. They've actually picked up and helped me out. We're going to run all 3 series next segment, Cup all the way through the year. We're going to fill it out with an Xfinity car, see how it goes. And then hopefully, the trucks for the rest of the year. So maybe we can work our way up and get in the championship run there. We got a ways to go, but anything can happen. But Brian Schoenberg, DJ, JD, I mean, they worked so hard to make this league what it is, and I mean, it shows. Name another league that's out there that can go green flag racing at Rockingham like this. I mean, that's just crazy. And you guys for showing up every week and doing this for us, it's pretty cool. Y'all do a great job. All my guys over at APC, they support us so much and come in and help us out. And my mom and my beautiful wife for letting me get away from the twins for a little while to come in here and have fun with y'all.
What it's all about, having a little bit of fun. You were able to get that done here tonight with the 4th place finish, Adam, and congratulations again on that. And hopefully we'll see you next week at Pocono.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And man, Brian, I'll tell you what a great race. And I think he said it best. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a race, been in a race, or broadcasted a race here that did not have a caution. At least one.
Yeah, it's a very rare thing, typically just because of the attrition that comes along with racing, especially at a track like Rockingham. It's such an aggressive track and abrasive track, and it beats you to death being out there hitting those bumps lap after lap, and mentally it just wears you out to the point where you're eventually going to make a mistake. And I definitely have to agree with that. It's amazing that we went through this race without a single caution. It's kudos to everybody that ran tonight. That just shows how good all of these drivers are. And while Alan Elwood ran away with the show, everybody did a great job driving these trucks all night long and keeping it out of trouble, and just an impressive run. And next week at Pocono should be a lot of fun too. We don't have the new pavement that we see in real life. We're still on the old pavement here on iRacing, so they're going to have to go through the bumps down in turns 1 and then get down into the tunnel turn back there on the back side of the track. And it's going to be a really interesting race as well. I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of action. You'll see a lot of 3 and maybe 4 wide going off into turn 1, which could make for quite an interesting restart or start to the race.
Most definitely can. We saw some trucks going on with the United Sim Racing Truck Series at Pocono last Saturday night, and that was quite a lot of fun as well, too. Very big momentum track. Got to carry that speed off those corners if you want any chance at all to survive on those long straightaways, especially in this truck at that track. So we look forward to that, of course, next week right here, same place, same time, right here on LSRTV at 9 p.m. Eastern. And hope you all can tune in for that. Stay up to date with everything. Live Sim Racing, check us out, livesimracing.com, and of course on Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Thank everybody here at the ASCORS Racing League, and you can visit them at ASCORSRacing.com, and to thank Brian Schoenberg, DJ Alliance, JD Laird, all the things that get it, all the stuff they do to get it done behind the scenes for all three of their series, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and of course on Friday nights with the Xfinity cars as well. I want to thank SegPay, of course, for over 10 years. SegPay has been processing online payment transactions for merchants in all categories with a specialization in helping retailers process credit card transactions. They are a leader in non-card present transactions and have strong relationships with acquiring banks and with credit card schemes. Learn more at segpay.com. The SegPay, proud sponsor of the ASCORS Truck Series. Garrett Smithley Racing, of course, the proud sponsor of Garrett Smithley, the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevy Camaro in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Next week, Pocono Raceway. Till then, check us out Saturday night, the United Sim Racing Truck Series, right here on LSRTV, as they move into segment number 2 of their season as well. I want to thank everybody from LSRTV, including tonight's broadcast team, myself, Andy Kessler, Brian Macklin, and of course Cisco Scaramuza down in that production trailer, getting that job done down there. And I want to congratulate Alan Elwood with a dominating performance here tonight at the Rock in Rockingham Speedway. I want to thank all of you for tuning in as well. We'll see you all next time right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented under the authority of LSRTV LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations and may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.